Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions as we go through this webinar, please type them into the questions box on your screen, and we'll be sure to answer those at the end. With that being said, Shawn, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. Let's get my screen shared here. Okay, can you see that okay, Jane?
Yes, we got you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. We keep these quick, about 20 minutes, give or take. And today's webinar is going to be about P3's new bulk plant inspection and kind of keying in on the review aspect and the reporting aspect of things. Myself, I am Shawn Litchfield, Regional VP with P3 Propane Safety. We also have with us John Horner, Senior Consultant in Safety and Training with P3, and we also have Ray Collins, who is the Propane Safety Director at Sapp Brothers, joining us today. So appreciate everybody joining. Going to kind of jump right into things and start by showing you the bulk plant reporting mapping view. So we have two different ways of viewing your bulk plant inspections once they've been completed. The map is pretty straightforward, but what's pretty intuitive about it is clicking through and being able to drill into the inspection at the particular location that we're at, and driving you to the page where we can see all the details about that bulk plant. And if I go back again, our other view being the list view allows us to see all the locations of the bulk plants, any information about them, their review status, and the last inspection date. So I'm going to kind of go back to the map and bring Ray into this, who's cameraless with us today, but he's still there with his voice. And Ray, why don't you tell us just a little bit about how the mapping features or the bulk plant reporting different views have kind of helped out you in terms of monitoring your bulk plants?
So do you want me to talk about before P3 or just since I started using it?
How it's, maybe a little bit what it was before and then kind of how this has changed things.
Okay, so before P3, we had built a bulk plant inspection sheet, or I should say book, just basically based off policies, procedures, NFP 58, stuff like that. And it was 22 pages deep. Very intense. It works, don't get me wrong, but it was, it took a long time to do. And then you had to develop your own way to report that back to the folks that were going to fix these issues. And so it was a lot of spreadsheet work, a lot of things like that. And so when I got the opportunity to use this bulk plant reporting through P3 digitally, and Alex had ran me through it and showed it to me, I was like, sign me up. This is awesome. So I guess what I like to see about it is I've got a lot of locations and I can go to what I call a hub location. And so when I pull up that map, it shows every single bulk plant that belongs to that hub. And as you can see on Shawn's slide there, he's got two greens and a red. Well, the red one tells you we got a problem there, or it's expired, or something. There needs something done there, which is awesome because my regional service managers that take care of all these different regions, that's what they can look at also and go, okay, Ray's flagged this one and this one and this one, and so it's really awesome that they can see that. The other nice thing is every time you fill out part of the inspection, at the end of it, you put in your comments on things that need done, and then you add pictures to support your documentation, which is absolutely I love that part. Absolutely love that part. And the regional service managers love it too, because then they're not running out there to see what they need to fix this. They're looking at the picture and going, wow, look at that. He zoomed right in. I can see exactly what I need. I can just take it with me, one trip out, fix the problem, end of story. Then we go back in and we resolve the issue and we turn our little pin green, which is a happy sign for all of us.
Right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Ray. And yeah, to your point, and we'll go through some resolutions down the road here. But the ability to review each bulk plant, understand what issues were identified, and be able to communicate what type of review you want to give, so that you can ultimately provide that follow-up. And a few other, just important features here would be the ability to upload and review the documents. So you've got your actual monthly inspection, which we see, and you can bring up the PDF, which is lengthy because it's a lengthy inspection. But with embedded photos, all that can be found right through drilling through into the inspection. And if I go back again, if you did or didn't see it, the ability to also upload your FSA, O&Ms, and U1As to each particular bulk plant that might that's useful there, so that everything is housed in one particular aspect of P3. So with that said, let me kind of go back here. Again, our list view is going to kind of outline a lot more detail, give you the ability to know what has been looked over and what hasn't. And then your dashboard is ultimately going to help you track what has, again, either been reviewed or not yet reviewed, but also if something has become a priority follow-up for a bulk plant specifically, you can get into that. We'll kind of touch base on that again in a bit. Whoop, my apologies. I think my internet just gave out. Here we go. And then my audit review required. So to do the initial review of our bulk plant inspections, this is where you'll be notified as the user. You'll drill in, and now we're going to be flagged with any of the issues that have occurred and either been resolved or have not yet been resolved. So you can see in this example here, we've got these 3 issues popped up. We have resolved 2 of those issues, but one of them is that it hasn't yet to be painted. And this is kind of a good example of one that you might consider, what we would consider a reviewed with comments, because priority-wise, it might not be something you can get done immediately. And Ray, actually, you kind of had a pretty good story about a similar example. I think it had to do with the decals or stickers, right?
Yeah, we set a new, not a brand new tank, but we moved a 30 from one location to a new location because it was not being used. So we moved it to a spot we could use it. And we did this in December. Most winters, that's not going to happen, but obviously this winter was an anomaly in the Midwest, at least. So anyway, we get this thing moved and we get it plumbed and all this good stuff. And the fire marshal comes out and does his, what I would call his pre-inspection, which he's really good about that. I'll say he's an easy guy to work with. And basically says, okay, so it's going to need paint, it's going to need this, stickers, all this stuff. I said, yeah, that's right. And so he said, how soon are you guys wanting to get this thing in operation? Well, as soon as possible. We got contracts full. We need the storage. So what we did was we got everything completely done except for the paint, because obviously it's still too cold to paint. So what we did was we built a 4x8 3/4-inch plywood sign and put no smoking, 6-inch, 240, flammable, everything that's required by the state of Nebraska on this sign, and sat it out there by the filling area, and called him up and said, we're ready for him. And he come out and he was like, wow, now that is, I've never seen that before. He said, all right, you know what? I can live with that because we can't paint right now. And you guys probably want to get this thing in operation. I said, exactly right. And he said, but I need a date. You got to give me a date. So we guaranteed to be painted by May 15th. And he said, perfect. And so that's what we went with. And I think we were really fortunate. I don't know if I could have done that in every state we work in, but luckily this guy, we've done a lot of work with him and have a relationship, and he knows we're not going to lie to him. So, but worked out great.
Well, nice. And that, yeah, again, like different things happen, and you need to be able to adapt and certainly record kind of what's going on. So in that particular instance, I'm just kind of using your same story there, Ray. We go ahead, click submit. Okay, so now we've reviewed that. And now if I go back to my dashboard, you'll notice, because I put that as a reviewed with comments, the bulk plant inspection, and now I know as far as follow-up goes, everything's okay for now, but we need to get that painted by May 15th. So that's gonna stay right in front of me until we get that completed. Okay, so John, kind of kicking things to you here. Ray talked a little bit about his spreadsheet life. Maybe you can kind of give us, your version of your history with bulk plant inspections and managing that process.
Sure. Back in the days when I was a multi-plant manager, I had 16 plants that we had to inspect on a regular basis. One company we did monthly and yearly, and then this last time just yearly, but 16 plants all on a spreadsheet. Quite sizable spreadsheet, I might say. And once you get all that information in there and you're trying to find a certain violation at a certain plant to see if it's been followed up on, it was just a nightmare of digging and trying to find that one so we could put the resolution in. So thing I like about this is it's right there. Not everything, you don't have to pull everything up. It's right there on your dashboard. If there's something waiting to be resolved, it's there staring you in the face every day until you take care of it, rather than having to spend 40 minutes going through a spreadsheet saying, oh, here's the one we've been thinking about. So,
I think that's the important part there, John, right? I mean, the 40 minutes to find something as opposed to kind of click through a few different pages and you've kind of navigated where you need to be. You've been able to schedule the follow-up. I mean, it could save you hours a week, technically, right?
It can save you hours, and those hours can be used for more important things. We all know that everybody out there's got plenty on their plate, plenty of things they need to take care of, and the only thing we don't have plenty of is the time. So anytime we can save a little bit, it's going to help us out as managers.
Well said. Okay, so now we talked through kind of the resolution process or being able to resolve these issues. So I'm going to go into what we have identified as a priority follow-up here. Okay, so it may not be the most perfect example, but say we know the fire marshal's coming and we need to ultimately get these container markings, decals up to snuff with 58. So my review on the 14th, which, yep, we're still within the week, was to replace all damaged decals within 7 days. Okay, so now I'm going to jump to the mobile side quickly and show you how we do the resolution. So we've got our bulk plant right on the mobile portion. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to resolve this issue. Instead of doing an entire new inspection, I just need to resolve what the issue was. And sure enough, that's that example we had before. I'm going to add my new photo that shows the new proper decals were added. So we'll just say new decals on tank. We've resolved this issue. I don't have a document to add, but that can be a part of it. Click continue, and then it's resolved. So we've identified an issue that needs to get done in a reasonable amount of time. We've gone ahead and done that. And then when I come back here, I refresh my dashboard. Let me go back. Actually, let me do this. We've got that, and I believe we can acknowledge these, and it should ultimately be completed. Well, ideally that would come out of the priority follow-up because we've completed it. So my apologies there, but in terms of tracking this stuff, it's obviously important to be able to complete your inspection, resolve things in the field, utilizing mobile, and ultimately get that dealt with. So when we are doing these bulk plants, we're going to make these things more efficient for you. The follow-up will take place and we'll be able to update our maps, our expirations, track everything that's done, and ultimately review that process. There you go. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was my, I think that was my issue, is that I didn't ultimately re-review that particular container. to drive that to resolution. So that would be the process to get that done. Ray, I'm just going to kick it back to you one more time to talk about a little more of the efficiency gain aspect that John kind of brought up. And maybe you could talk through your experience at Sapp and how much time you spent before versus after.
Yeah, it's really unreal. I mean, the time spent before was, 2.5, 3 hours per inspection. And, when you're doing 35 of those a month and, 35 of those annually, that's a lot of hours, a lot of drive time in between them. And so I used to schedule right at a month to do bulk plant inspections on the annual ones. And then the monthly ones, I tried to pare them down slightly, which is when you're trying to pare down an inspection, it's really tough to decide if that's the right thing to do at times. And so it's what I like about the efficiency part of the P3 digital one is if there's something that you're looking at and it's not part of the inspection and it comes up on there, you hit NA and it moves you right to the next section. There's just like if you don't have a vaporizer there, you don't have to fill that part out. You hit NA and you go right on down to the next section. It's very efficient, it's fast, and the finished product is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I love it.
Great.
Saves me a lot of time.
Thank you, Ray. So John, I'm not sure if you have anything to add in closing, but again, we try to keep these pretty quick and just kind of, give examples of what we've got here at P3. Anything you want to add?
Nothing to add. I'd like to know if we had any questions, though.
Great. Good point. Jane, anything come in from the field?
Yeah, so the first question we got is, if I have multiple tanks and find an issue, does the inspection identify which tank has the issue?
Yes. So yeah, through the inspection process, anytime you do an entry and it's container related, it will ask you what container it applies to, based on serial number and all that. And of course, we can house any number of containers per bulk plant. So yes, that can be handled through P3.
Perfect. And that looks like the only question we've gotten.
Okay. Well, great. Ray, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We wish we could have had you on camera like John and I, but thank you for joining us.
All right, I'm not near as good looking as you guys, so I think it worked out best for everybody involved. And any of those folks out there listening, I would be more than happy to answer your questions offline sometime. All you have to do is give me a holler.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Ray. Thank you. Well, yeah, we encourage everybody to kind of check out P3. If you're not already a customer, then go ahead and request a demo on our website. If you are a customer and you want to kind of learn more about the newer functionality that exists, just reach out to us and we'd love to kind of dig into it with you. So thanks everybody for joining. We really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Shawn.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.